What's up guys? I have some very exciting news. By the end of this video, you will be able to distinguish if an exercise plan fits your goals or if it doesn't. How empowering is that news? You can literally distinguish for yourself, is the workout that I'm doing just fluff, or am I directing my energies towards my goals? That's exactly what the empowerment strategy is of Train Me Academy. Wow, the empowerment strategy. I don't know where that phrase came from. Sometimes things like this just pop into my brain. If you are a loyal supporter of the Train Me Academy page and of these videos, thank you so much. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. Please share this video if you're getting value from it. You are literally getting information that people are currently paying tens of thousands of rands for. I am giving you the cheat sheet, the crib notes, in order to become your very own personal trainer. Super valuable information. I know that I give a lot of detail. I know that sometimes I go on and on about certain topics, but again, live videos, I don't get much feedback. I can't see facial expressions. If normally a class isn't understanding what I'm saying, I normally get there's really weird expressions, or people can't put their hands up and ask questions. And I think that it's a bit intimidating coming on the channel, even though you're not in front of the camera, but coming on the channel and literally putting your hand up and be like, I don't know the answer to this question. So when I don't get feedback from you guys live, so last week it was pretty dead out there. I didn't have a lot of people actually watching me live, but I think more and more people are watching the reruns of these videos. And then, like I said last time, I'm also looking into making this some sort of podcast worthy. So basically taking the information from these videos and then putting it in a audio format so that you can listen to it on the go, in your car, while you take a bath, while you're at the gym, whatever it is. I want to make it as accessible and as easy as possible for you guys to get in contact with the things that are serving you and helping you, because that's what we want to do. We literally just want to help empower you to reach your goals. And I found through doing this for 10 years is people are way more likely to stick to a regime or a plan or whatever you want to call it if they understand why they are actually doing it. So that is the motivating force behind me doing these videos. And I really am passionate about educating and teaching, and I just want you to get as much as possible. So I'm going to do my best, as always, to try and think in the minds of what would a person that doesn't know about this be asking, and then I just try to give you that information. So before I go on and blabber some more, let me get into some juicy stuff so that you just enjoy the videos more. I'm just trying to think, what would you guys really want out of this so I can keep the viewership up, so that I can keep assisting and helping you. Okay, so last week we covered and we basically finished going through the different planes of, well, the different zones that you should be working out if your goal is in the anaerobic zone. So the muscle building zone, if you want to get toned, if you want to build muscle, if you want to get really strong, or if you want to get powerful. I basically outlined the parameters in order for you to find programs that are going to go to whatever your goal is. So if your goal is toning and shaping, I've told you exactly what zone what the zone is and how you are able to stay in that zone, or what the zone even looks like. If your goal is to build muscle, I've told you the parameters on that. Again, if you want to build strength, or if you just want to build a lot of power, which basically means that you're strong and fast. So a good example of power training is if you're a sprinter. Okay, so that's what I went through last week. This week, we're going to be talking about something that I am not as experienced in, but I found it to be very valuable component that I was neglecting a lot because I was I am an extremist person, and my goal was so zoned in on doing Olympic weightlifting, which basically means I was trying to be as strong and quick as possible. And in order for you to do that in Olympic weightlifting, you have to clean and jerk a bar, which means pick a bar up to your chest height and then push it up above your head. Jerk it above your head, not actually push it above your head. And the snatch, which is literally one movement from the floor straight up above your head. So Olympic weightlifting, the goal is to get as much weight as possible moved from a dead standstill on the ground to above your head as efficiently as possible. And in doing that, you're using the entire body. So I was a huge advocate of power training because my goal was to be a fast sprinter and a long jumper, because my athletics was the reason I got into Olympic weightlifting, and I ended up falling in love with Olympic weightlifting. Long story short, I was basically only focusing on the anaerobic zone. I was doing almost no aerobic training. So aerobic training is your cardiovascular training, the stuff that is looking after your heart, the movements that are looking after your heart. And so when I started doing CrossFit, which was my first step into more of a cardio-based goal fitness type of zone, was after about 3 years of concentrating basically solely on Olympic weightlifting. And boy, did I have a wake-up call, because I was strong, I was fast, but I had zero gas tank, is what the CrossFitters call it. My muscle endurance was crap. It was actually quite laughable. So if there was a workout that was below 6 minutes, I would do pretty well. Like I could, because CrossFit has got quite light weights with lots of repetitions, because my strength was so high, even though I didn't have much endurance, because my strength was so high, I could literally bang out quite a good amount of repetitions on a low weight. And the disclaimer, if the workout wasn't very, very long, because if I had to continue working at that capacity and having my heart rate up at a certain level for a certain period of time, I would literally crash and burn. I almost mean that literally. I can remember countless times lying on the floor after workout. During a workout, sometimes I would I would not get my I wouldn't get my projections right. I would be very overly ambitious and start a workout way too quickly, for example, and then literally get halfway through it and not being able to really move or breathe, and then just end up resting and watching the clock tick away, which is not what you're looking for if you want to be a CrossFit athlete. Okay, so like I've been telling you guys, I slightly digress and go off on tangents, and normally in a classroom I'm much better at pulling myself back, and I also ask my students to always hold me accountable, but I can't even say long story short because I've just given you a long story. But the point of me sharing this with you is I went to a very extreme place to find a balance between your anaerobic training and your aerobic training. I first went extreme on the anaerobic and then try to find aerobic somewhere along the line. And now I'm in a place, since I've moved to Cape Town, so for the last 2 years or so, I've been focusing mostly on the aerobic zone. So now I've kind of turned it on its head, which fits in with Neil's extremist kind of lifestyle. And I don't know if you guys can see, but we've got Luna joining us today for the video. I'm surprised this is the first time this has happened because they're always on my lap. Anyway, what's up, Lene? Thank you for joining us. Let's get into talking about the cardiovascular, first of all, test that you can do, and then also the calculations that you can do in order to know which cardiovascular zone that you're working in, and knowing the zone knows what effect it's going to have on the body. So for the longest time, when I wasn't going back to my textbooks, I was actually working in a zone that was pretty much just for anaerobic endurance. I pause because I don't want to use too much of a technical term, but for anaerobic endurance, which is really, really great for performance, for athleticism, which is what I want. But I see a lot of people working in the same zone or doing workouts or cardiovascular training in such a high heart rate zone that they're not actually burning fat in that zone, they're not burning fat very, very well. They're not doing it efficiently. So what a lot of people, I think a big misconception is that if you do HIIT training, you're going to be in a fat burning zone for very long. Not actually true. The fat burning zone is a little bit lower down in your heart rate spectrum. So what I have to explain this because there's so many stupid misconceptions out in the fitness industry. A lot of people think MIT training, which is mild intensity interval training, is the same as HIIT training or is HIIT training. So I also see a lot of studios and stuff, they advertise HIIT training, but they're actually doing MIT training. And for fat loss, MIT training is actually what you want. You don't want that high intensity interval training because that only really helps with building that anaerobic endurance. Not as good for burning fat. But if you're in a MIT zone, which is a still interval style training, your average heart rate averages out in that fat burning zone, which is what most people want. So I'm giving you examples based on what most people want because, again, I can't get feedback from you. If there was literally more people online right now asking me questions, I would almost tailor-make this video for you because you're here and at least I'll get some interaction and not just me answering questions that have been asked in the last 24 hours, etc., etc. Okay, cool. So first of all, a very important thing that you need to know is what your maximum heart rate is. Okay? Maximum heart rate is worked out in a pretty easy way without using fancy machines and blah, blah, blah. In order to work out your maximum heart rate, you take your age, so actually you take the number 220. You take 220 and you minus 220 by your age. And then you get your maximum heart rate. Super easy, right? So if you're 20 years old, you take 220, you minus it by 20, and then you get 200. So your maximum heart rate is 200. Another number that you need to know is your resting heart rate. Anyone know how to get resting heart rate? It's pretty simple. You literally check your pulse for a minute and count the amount of blibs that you get. So resting heart rate would be just the amount of times that your heart beats in a minute. That would be a resting heart rate. And then the other thing that is important when it comes to, nope, that's pretty much it. So if you want to find out which zones, I'm going to go over the zones just now, but if you would like to find out how to make sure that you're working in the right zone, because age is a factor on maximum heart rate, for example. So if you as a 20-year-old are running with your parent who is in their 50s and you're running at the same pace, you guys may be working in different zones. So it's important to be able to work out that zone for your specific fitness level, and this is the easiest way to find it out without going into crazy expensive tests. Are we all on the same page? So in order to find out what your target heart rate is, you need to find your target heart rate is equal to the percentage of your maximum heart rate minus by your resting heart rate, the sum of that minus your resting heart rate. If you find that percentage, that's going to tell you which zone you're actually working out in when you are doing cardiovascular training or aerobic style training. Okay, I hope that we are all on the same page there so far. let's get into the different zones, because we're already 15 minutes into this video, and oh my gosh, Neil, could we please just get on with it? I think that's what a lot of you out there are thinking, but this is just me. Anyway, okay, so the training zone. If you are working out for health reasons, you're going to be doing quite a moderate amount of percentage. So if you are doing between 55% of your maximum heart rate and 70% of your maximum heart rate, you are basically working in your health zone. So if you want to just look after your health, that's a good zone to work out in. It would probably be a brisk walk in most cases, or a walk on a slight incline. Okay. If you are looking to increase your fitness level, so be able to run further, for example, that's normally how most endurance people measure their fitness, how far that they can go, or another way to measure it is how quickly you can go in a long period of time, obviously longer than what you would do in terms of a sprint or something like that. You need to be working between 70% of your heart rate and 80% of your maximum heart rate. Okay, this is going to increase your aerobic glycosis. It's going to get the enzymes going in order for your blood to transport oxygen better and your muscles to be able to utilize it better. It's basically, if you want to get more fit in terms of like your distances and things like that, you want to be making sure that you are working in that 10%, between 70% and 80% of your maximum heart rate. Okay, the next zone. I hope I'm not like going too fast now. You know, Neil, extremist, one thing to the next. The third zone is called your anaerobic threshold. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier. So this is where I find a lot of people are working in this zone, and this is more helping you get your VO2 max level up, as opposed to burning through fat or increasing your endurance fitness, the length of time that you want to be able to do something. So if you want to run the comrades for some reason, that just slipped out. I can't comprehend why someone would want to run 2 marathons in a row without stopping. Not my vibe. As I said, this is not my speciality on the side, but I do know about it. I mean, I've been playing in the water with firstly CrossFit, but more in this anaerobic threshold zone for about 4 years, and then for the last 2 years being more on like the fitness side. But I always need to slow myself down, because I like to always push my pace up, and then I find out myself I'm being in the anaerobic threshold and the anaerobic zone. Shut up, Neil. The third zone is the anaerobic threshold zone. Okay, so that means that you're going to be between 80 and 90% of your maximum heart rate. Okay. That's going to be recruiting more of your type 2A fibers, which are basically your anaerobic fibers. So they're kind of like the hybrid anaerobic fibers, where you can go for longer than like 10 seconds. Because if you are basically all the way into your anaerobic zone, meaning you are pushing yourself as fast as as hard, and you're trying to run as fast as possible. Even the most elite athletes in the world, i.e. the Olympic Games athletes, cannot hold a sprint for much longer than 10 seconds. We see this, and I can definitively tell you this, because I promise you they are trying their hardest every single time the gun goes off. But secondly, because of the difference in times between the 100-meter sprint and the 200-meter sprint. If someone could maintain the same speed that they do in the 100-meter sprint for the entire duration of the 200-meter sprint, the world record would be much lower than 19.5 seconds. Okay, because currently, as far as I know, the world record for 100-meter sprint is 9.58. And remember, if you just add 9.58 twice, that's not correct, because I hope I'm not getting too technical here. Because in a 200-meter sprint, by the time you've crossed the 100-meter mark, you are already at full tilt capacity speed. And so if you were actually maintaining that entire time, that speed the entire time, the world record would be 18 or sub 17 seconds, somewhere around there. My maths isn't that great, but I mean, that's basically the overview. So if you want to be working in a zone where you are competitive, either in something like CrossFit, or if you even do competitive, what's an example? Marathons even, or bike events, triathlons. The competitive guys, what they're doing, and girls, of course, the girls too, what the competitive girls are doing as well, is in the beginning of the race, they are able to sprint to get ahead of the pack and then lower their pace down and recover while they were still running. So it's good to do HIIT style training if you want to be able to do that very well. But other than that, if you want to be burning fat and increasing your fitness, you actually shouldn't be doing high intensity interval training, because what high intensity interval training will do is put you in the anaerobic threshold or the aerobic zone, which is the fourth and the final zone that I'm going to speak about today, because we're already on 20 minutes. Sometimes I'd look up at the time, I'm like, how did we get here? How did we get here so damn quickly? I don't know, but here we are. So the fourth and final zone is between 90 and 100% of your one rep max. Gosh, Neil, between 90, you see how my brain is wired to the weights stuff. Between 90 and 100% of your maximum heart rate. You can surpass your maximum heart rate as well. So it actually is also above that. When you are doing something like a sprint, you're not going to just be running at your maximum heart rate. You're probably going to be pushing that above that, especially if you are quite a fit person. So that is going to help with your type 2B muscle fibers, which are the ones that you want to be looking at getting better if you are going to be a competitive athlete, whether you are a tennis player or a rugby player or something, insert something here, player, or you have a sport or some reason that you're competing, or you're competing against whatever. 90%, I'm using a random percentage, but most people that I speak to, or the most people that I've helped over the last 10 years through working with people from all over the world on a cruise ship, to running and helping run a gym in Dubai, from working with people in America, to working with people in South Africa, to working with people on a yacht in the Seychelles, and other crazy stuff that I've done in my life. Generally, people just want to be healthier or be a little bit more fit and lose fat. So if that's you, stop wasting your time with many HIIT sessions. Rather, make sure that you're doing a mid style of training that is balancing your heart rate out between 70 and 80%. And if you just want to be focused on fat loss, you actually need to be below 70%. I'm not a bodybuilder. I've interacted with a lot of bodybuilders. I've seen their programs. I've seen what they do. At one stage, I thought that was what I wanted to have as a goal, until the reality of it was actually presented to me, and I'm like, I don't want to stand on a stage and water fast and fish paste. They, as far as I know, will, in order to maximize their fat burning and minimize their muscle burn or the muscle loss, is they will just walk on a treadmill for their cardiovascular sessions. So there you go. Even the guys that want to be as lean, guys or girls, or Apache helicopters, depending on what sexual orientation you associate yourself with. Sexual orientation, is that the right? Anyway, they are the ones that are making sure that they are as lean as possible, and the training or the cardiovascular training that they do leading up to an event will be mostly walking. So just keeping their heart rate above 55-60, but below 70%. And it's pretty easy and it's pretty comfortable to stay there. So there's some good news if you don't like intense training, which is not me. But anyway, okay. Let me see if I can get to some questions before we start pushing the 30-minute mark. Oh gosh, Neil. Before I do that though, I hope this has been valuable information to you. And again, guys, so the disclaimer from the beginning of this video, if you've watched all the videos up until this point, all the Tip Tuesdays, I think we're on number 6 or number 7 now, one of those. If you've diligently understood the stuff that I've been explaining in those and get up to this point, you will be able to pick and choose what exercise plans or what programs that you should be following. So you can go out onto the internet and find programming. I mean, if that's what you want to do, there's a lot of crap out there, so just be careful. You can go and find an exercise plan out there on the internet for free and make sure it fits into the principles that I've taught you, and then you will be able to basically train yourself. I mean, hoping that this exercise plan that you randomly get is made by someone that's qualified, that actually makes programming sense. But anyway, if you don't want to be scared of doing the wrong kinds of thing or getting programs that are made by unprofessional people, whatever, then I have a solution for you. Join Train Me Academy, because every single workout plan that I give on my academy, I have personally built myself using my knowledge, my skills, my experience over the last 10 years, all of the things that I've studied. They're all my exercise plans. It's my intellectual property. I haven't gone and got templates off of online things, or maybe people think that it's an application, so the app just gives you workouts. It's not the case, guys. Or every single workout that I give on Train Me Academy, I personally built myself from scratch. The only reason that I have so many of these workouts that I can personalize for people based on their goals is because for 4 years before this point, before I was teaching personal trainers to be personal trainers, I was building one-on-one programs for people. And when I sell a one-on-one product, I mean it. I am a genuine, like my values, I'm a genuine person, and I think I've got good values. So when someone was asking for the one-on-one approach, which I was doing for 4 years before, I built this plan myself, and it went into a database, and I kept that database, and I thought, what is a good way to use all of this knowledge and all of the stuff that I've got out there? Because through doing all of those things, or being an online trainer for 4 years, and there was a year, I think, in my business where I didn't even have one South African client. So I had people from all over the world and doing all different kinds of things with different lifestyles. I built plans around this. And then COVID-19 hit, and I was like, I've got exercise plans for home use. So why don't I put them to use? Let me sell them to people for an extremely cheap price. Like a fifth or a sixth of what I was selling individual plans for, and get that knowledge out there, see how many people I can help. And I know this is turning into a rant, but it's just so sad. I am getting so frustrated with going through social media and seeing how many people have their own challenge now, or you're gonna get lean in 21 days and $3 to unlimited workouts. And guys, it's confusing out there. It is confusing. I understand. It's crazy out there. Like, there's just so much information. You don't know what's good, what's not. You want to go with the cheaper option, or the cheapest option maybe, but just because it sounds like a good idea doesn't mean it's going to actually help you. Guys, you have a limited amount of energy in this lifetime or in this world, and the energy that you do have, if you are overweight or if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, use it effectively. Let someone like me help you. Watch the videos. Watch the videos for free. I'm putting this out there on the page. You can share them. They're on YouTube. They're on Facebook. Watch the videos. You can learn just for that for free, or take it to the next step. Join the academy and learn by doing, and let me take you through the process of what I'm teaching you, because it's really hard to conceptualize the stuff I'm telling you, and I'm just sitting here with a pen in my hand. I don't know what I'm doing with the pen, and there's no whiteboard here or whatever, but obviously I want to help you as much as possible, but I'm also doing it for free, so I can't put super lots of time and energy into editing and putting a visual screen and virtual whiteboards, or I don't ever know. Okay, rant over. I think I should end the video there. We only had 2 questions this week. Well, actually, this is questions from previous weeks, which is why I'm not super strapped to get to them. Keep the questions coming in. Let's make this interactive. Thank you for joining us, guys. If you have any questions, let us know during the week. Otherwise, super exciting. Next week we start with empowering you to be able to create your own exercise plans. So now that you can pick and choose with the knowledge that I've given you up to this point, the thing that we're doing as we're moving forward is I'm going to teach you how to literally build your own exercise plan. Super valuable information. If you think so, smash like, comment on this video, share this video. You can not just share it on Instagram, you can share it on Facebook as well. The video's on Facebook. I put it on YouTube so you can share it everywhere. Share it! Give it away! Give it to a friend that needs to hear it. Okay, guys, bye!